Hello and welcome back. This is going to be the last video on this particular series, and probably the last one for at least a couple of weeks. I got some things coming up that I need to take care of, and there just won't be time for videos. But anyway, I wanted to cover this. I finished this cart yesterday, and yeah, it took a couple of months, but working at it a little at a time. Remember, I'm an old geek with tools, and so I take my time doing things and try to do it right best I can anyway. So as we go here, I'm going to fade in some pictures of before, and then I'll show you, make sure you get a clear view of the after. So following the format from my very first video in this series, we'll move on and cover this a step at a time. Here we go. All right, I'm going to show you a little picture here of the headlights we started out with. I did end up testing them. One of them worked, but as I was removing them, the housing for both, of course, one was already falling apart, as you can see here, and the other one was pretty much falling apart by the time I got them removed from the chassis. So it now has two brand new LED floodlight type headlights. They use substantially less energy from the batteries and provide quite a bit more light than the halogens did. So it was definitely a step up. And next, if we take a look at the badge from before, and then come back and look at this one, well, it's just a lot better. I got the majority of the adhesive removed, and what was left was so dry that when I ran over it with a sander, it pretty much came clean. So the current badge a little bit different. It's not as thick, and it conforms to curves a little bit better. So. And it's got a 3M adhesive backing on it, so it should last a long time. That's my hope. And what we had going before, the clips that held the windshield was falling. I mean, they had become quite deformed, and so as you can see here, I think if you remember in that first video, I just touched one of them and it just fell completely out of there. So anyway, it's got all brand new clips and rubber components to protect it when the top half is folded down. So much better. And as far as the dash goes, I wasn't entirely satisfied with the repair I did on where the old battery meter was, but as I said, I did the best I could. And so you can still see where it was, but it's a solid repair. It's not going to fall out of there or anything. And you can see that the new battery meter is just off to the right of the steering column. It's a bit at an angle. It's quite visible from the driver's seat. So I'll show you the before and after right here. And that's it for the dash. And so over on the right front corner, you can see I got the paint that had been oversprayed on the aluminum. It's all cleaned up, and of course with the new paint job on there, it came out looking pretty decent. Then the tire ends up. The tire wasn't bad. It was the Schrader valve, the valve stem core. I just replaced that. Like a 15-cent item, and it's been holding there just fine since then. So no worries. Now, if you remember the original battery compartment view when I first started on this, down there, kind of at the right about here, was the resistive network that picked off the voltage from the main resistor, picked off the voltage to send to the motor for depending on how many sections of the resistor were selected, and that depended on the throttle position. So you see there's some difference looking at the old one, and then coming back to the new one. This is the way it is currently configured, the way it's going to be. And finally, as far as the before and after pictures, well, I'll show you some more, but this is I'm just kind of going over what we saw in the very first video, and you can see where one of the snaps used to be. Actually, you can not see what it used to be, which is good. That was the intent. I mean, there's still some scratches and scars, and it's a 35-year-old cart, so you know you got to expect a little wear and tear on it. But paint job came out rather well, and as I think as good as could be expected for the conditions I'm working in. And yeah, I think it's nice. This is going to make somebody a very nice cart. I hope they're pleased with it. I did do a lube job on it. I changed the gear oil in the rear differential. That's all fresh and new. Put some synthetic stuff in there, and highly, it's had a lot of good reviews. And yeah, so everything is basically, we jack this up and run a new car under it. Its jacket, or its outerwear looks kind of the same. It's been spruced up a little, but everything underneath is all new throttle sensor, new solenoid, all new batteries, obviously. Reconfigured forward reverse shifter, and it's got a nice Curtis 1204 clone in for motor control. So, and I did all my usual stuff as far as the relay over there on the far side, and then the DC to DC converter, which is right there. And the only 12-volt circuit it's got available to it right now is for the headlights, but there's 3 circuits available if whoever buys this cart ends up wanting to add the stereo or charging system for their phone or tablet or camera, you know, whatever. I mean, just it's wide open. Plus, there's plenty of room to add a larger power distribution block in there. I left plenty of room for that, so they could go up to like a total of probably 12 circuits if that suited them. Look at the throttle. I don't think we took a very close look at that, the way it ended up. Yeah, here comes a bunch of clicks, so I can zoom in on it. Sorry, cheap camera. I think I talked about in the very first video, or the second one, I don't remember now, which how that was going to mount in there. So you can see it had the stainless steel L brackets and the aluminum extrusions on the side to mount the thing in there. And it is rock solid as far as when you press the accelerator. It does exactly what I designed it to do, and that is to work with it's like a new way for an old cart to function. So anyway, I want to just kind of do a walk around and show you what it looks like and what's going to be available for somebody to buy. Just going to start with a little closer look inside here, because everything is now the way it's going to stay. If anyone has any questions about any of this, just drop it in the comments. The charger ended up back here. It is waterproof, so if there's a little splash up from the back axle or whatever, it's not going to hurt anything. And we'll just do a little walk around here. I did have to put in a new headlight switch. The old one was quite intermittent. I tried taking it apart and fixing it that way, and it said, nope, not going to work. The floor mat came out looking nice, I think. Got quite a scrubbing. I couldn't really find a suitable plastic patch for this, so I just put a piece of metal over it. If somebody wants to add a charge port back in there at some point, they're free to do so. This seat, I didn't really show it in the initial video. This seat was nasty when we got it. Just dirty, filthy. And pretty sun bleached. It cleaned up pretty well. There's still some staining on it, but it was with a lot of scrubbing. Got it pretty well cleaned up. And the back cleaned up very well as well. There were snaps in here. There was another one down here. There was one in right here somewhere. I can't even tell. And then there was one. Yeah, I don't see where it was anymore. And then there was one here. The timber floors. I got some Rust-Oleum paint supposedly formulated to work on hard rubber. So we'll see how that lasts for them. The original taillights, they tested fine. We got new plastic rivets for attaching this back in place. Here's where the Scorpion event took place. Haven't seen any more since then, and that's good. I don't ever need to see any more, ever, really. I did paint the the seat backs, everything was brown. Well, it was sort of brown. It started out brown from the factory, but yeah, I cleaned that all up, reconditioned the plastic, and then put more Rust-Oleum made for plastic. Painted all those. Plus, I treated the plywood inside here and also on the bottom of the seat. I treated that with some, not deck stain, but the waterproofer, like Thompson's water seal. So hopefully, I mean, it's still solid, so it should last for quite a long while longer. At one point I did have a roof, well, you saw in the previous videos, the roof was off. I got that out yesterday and scrubbed it up really well. It came out looking pretty nice. There's a pretty sizable scratch in the top of it, but it doesn't penetrate the plastic, so it's up there out of view, out of mind, I'm thinking. All right. Like I said, I think this is going to be my last video for a while. I have some things coming up that I need to take care of, and it's going to preclude the time it takes to record and edit videos. So a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll be back. Thanks for watching.